Alright, so this is just going to be a really quick tutorial on how I do hog launch. I'm going to show off a full game and IL lineup. First thing I'd like to note is that it very much depends on how your hog is. There's, I believe, 6 different parts that can be changed, and there's 3 different permutations. The only one I really pay attention to is these front 2 pieces. Generally, for me, it's best to have this part here in best condition and to not have one here. That being said, it will work if you don't have like the desired permutation, but it's just generally going to give you a better launch. So I'm going to start off by showing a rather somewhat consistent thing that I go for in full game. So what you do is you jump up here. You want your first nade to be somewhere around here. You want it to be generally just in this area, not down here, but up here. So I'll show you in action. Throw it up there. That was actually a bit high. And as you can see, probably because of the timing, with it being too high, I died. Now your second one, what you're going to want to do is as you're running, you're going to jump, and there's actually a really bad display of what to do, so let's do that one. So your second one, essentially what I did there is you're going to run, and you want to jump, and you want to basically try to get your nade right on this little corner here. So I'll show that again. And as you can see, that's the full lineup. Generally, you'll get some fairly similar to that. There are minor adjustments you can make. Generally, you just have to find what works for you. The third nade is, in my opinion, the most important. What you're going to do with this one is you want to throw it pretty much right where I just threw it, so not in motion. You're going to have done your first nade, your second nade. You want to jump up here, and basically as soon as humanly possible, as soon as you're like on the hog, you're going to throw it, and you're going to aim for right around here. And to be a little bit more specific, you want it to be in front of... That was a really bad display because that was timing off again. But you want it to be just in front of your second nade there. And like I said, you'll always get a launch that way. Launches like that generally can yield you a pretty decent time, as you can see there. The reason if it doesn't work like that is generally just due to timing. That's just something you gotta work on. So that might be too early. Oh, that worked perfectly fine. So yeah, basically full game lineup. Just throw your first one really high, second one pretty much in that spot, third one, yeah, pretty simple. Now what I do for ILs is a lot less consistent, but generally it'll yield you a really good launch, so I'm hoping I get a good one here. I'll just do it in motion a few times. And as you can see there, that's kind of the same issue, just timing was off. I'm dead. Let's just see if I get a good launch. I might cut this a little bit if I don't get a really good one. I mean, you know, that's pretty standard. Not very great. Wow, these really aren't that great for an IL, so sorry about this. Hopefully, I don't want to have to edit this. But essentially, you throw your first one very low. Your second one is almost the same, except you just want to tilt it. Here, you throw your first one around there. Should land like that. And then your second one is going to be jump. Okay, that's not it. Okay, so your second one is going to be, you're going to throw your nade at a slant. You don't want it to hit this, but you're going to just, some angle like this, you want to run and throw it and then jump. And yeah, and then your third nade is exactly the same. Again, sorry, I know this is a really rough take. But a lot of the time, the main difference here is just that the timing is a lot faster, but Something you'll notice if you do this enough is with this lineup specifically, and maybe I could get one here, you will get insane launches. Some such launches, I think in my easy PB, I use this lineup, and I believe I probably have one. I could probably maybe show on screen, like, what that looks like, we'll see, but yeah, I mean, both of them are pretty good in general. Like I said, if you want to go for it in full game, I don't see why a lot of people don't. You just go for the first one I showed. Second one, pretty good for ILs. I wouldn't do it in full game, at least generally. I kind of do go for it sometimes, but yeah, it's pretty simple. Same general idea. So I guess just to break it down one more time, as you can see I died there. You want your first nade to be somewhere in this area, and then you throw it higher. You want to throw your second nade pretty much, so you're throwing it a little bit later, but you also want to throw it straight down. So if you were right here when you do it and you slanted it, it's gonna do that, which will probably kill you. So if you throw it higher up, you want to do something more like this. That could have worked, I don't know. And then your third nade, pretty much always just want it to be right around here. So depends on where you stand. I just generally look back in this general direction, and as long as your timing's right, it should be good. So just a few more times, I'll show the IL and full game. This is the IL. There we go. Okay, there's one of the... That's what'll happen a lot with this lineup. That's actually kind of nuts. We'll just keep this run. Very unlucky. Okay, and then the full game lineup. Pretty straightforward. Of course, you're not going to get as much power as the one I just showed, but that's another thing you do want to be careful of. As you can see, I still got a launch there. You just want to try to practice and make sure you're not hitting this slope, because if you hit this slope, like 9 times out of 10, you just won't get a launch. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry for the really rough production quality. Don't know if I'm going to do any editing. Depends on how I'm feeling, but yeah.